Mr. Engdahl, with this new development, the news of Gaddafi being killed, does this mean peace in Libya?
I don't think at all it means peace. What we're seeing is the gruesome next chapter in what's going to be a mob rule in that country of different tribal groups competing for power and oil control. And this was predictable from the beginning when the Pentagon started training these activists and secretly arming the insurgents back over a year ago even. So I think Libya is in for a period of horrendous chaos after the NATO bombing that's brought parts of Libya back to the Stone Age. So this is not at all an omen for justice and democracy by any means.
All right, let's just talk about the footage that's been being shown all around the world now. The UN Human Rights Council, they want to probe into the circumstances of Gaddafi's death. What do you think that will achieve?
Well, at least it puts the pressure on this so-called Transitional National Council. I think this was a case of cold-blooded murder of a man who was wounded and certainly wasn't going to go anywhere. And the way it was done was just gives an idea of what the moral values are of this new regime in Libya, and it's certainly not a step forward; it's a step backwards.
Okay, following that line of thinking, though, will the UN demand, do you think, an investigation into the civilian deaths caused by NATO bombing as well as the conflict inside?
Well, I think the UN should demand that if they're at all concerned with human values. They should demand that exactly, because the civilian deaths that have taken place from the NATO bombing, and not so much from Gaddafi's activities or Gaddafi's troops, that, according to eyewitness accounts from journalist friends of mine, has just been horrific.
Okay, now this certainly has taken one path, the result right now, Gaddafi being killed. Is this what NATO had been gunning for to begin with, or would it have rather seen him in court?
I don't think they wanted him in court, frankly, because things would have come out about U.S. activities and things would have come out about Libya that NATO wasn't particularly eager to have come under the spotlight. So for them, it's interesting how all these arch criminals who are opposed to the Pentagon come to court trial and then suddenly die, before they get a chance to have justice or whatever. But I don't think they wanted Gaddafi to come to court.
Okay, now this, of course, the whole world is watching, but more importantly, the Arab world is certainly keeping a close eye on what's happening in Libya. And when they see blood on the hands of both NATO as well as the new government's fighters, what kind of signal could this be sending to other countries under dictatorship, coming both from Western powers as well as armed groups or rebel groups?
Well, that's entirely unclear at this point. I think it sends a signal that a bunch of gangsters are running Libya, and it's not at all clear whether it's one bunch of gangsters or several rival bunches of gangsters that are under this so-called Transitional National Council, TNC. So I think the rest of the Arab world is going to be quite cautious in dealing with this new entity called Libya.
Will you would you call all of them gangsters, or would you also give merit to the fact that they are being labeled as revolutionaries?
What does that word mean when the U.S. pumps $1 billion in arms and CIA Special Forces training into these so-called rebels? I wouldn't call them revolutionaries. What kind of revolution are they advocating?
Okay, now just very quickly, NATO is now expected to declare an end to its bombing campaign in Libya. How long do you think they will stay there? Because earlier they had said that they will remain until the NTC can ensure stability. When do you think they'll leave? Just very quickly.
Oh, I think that's going to be a little bit like Iraq and Afghanistan. They're going to be there quite a long time. This is part of a pattern that we see of establishing permanent NATO or U.S. military bases in these crucial strategic areas to control the oil resources and to militarily be in a position to do other things, cut off oil supplies to China and various things like that.
Okay, thanks very much for your insight there. Author F. William Engdahl talking to us live from Germany. Thank you.
Thank you.